What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, you're watching TWA Motorsports, and check it out, an SSR. You guys have seen this on the channel before. This is my dad's. He's back here somewhere. Anyway, had it in the shop the other day, at the shop, like my Monday through Friday job, and this thing scrubbed off some front tires, like the inners, and the bushings for the upper A-arms were bad. So while we had it in the shop, we replaced the upper A-arms because the bushings were completely shot, and also replaced the back lower control arms, so the ones that run along the bottom. I almost think it needs a set of adjustables in the back, but I was telling him it's going to make a bunch of noise. I don't know, some of them are noisy. Anyway, today we've got it in the shop because I wanted to knock out some stuff here that I just didn't want to do that day. Mainly the front brakes, they're completely toast. And he has a leaking oil pressure sending unit, which I'm really hoping we don't have to pull the intake off to get to, but we already took the center out of this guy. It just pops in, but now all we got to do is take the, those look like 8 or 10 millimeters out. I'm gonna let it cool off though. He just drove it here from his house, so I'm gonna go ahead and start on the wheels. We're gonna see if we can get under this thing, lift it up. Just going back with a stock replacement. They are coated rotors, so they generally don't rust quite as bad or look quite as crappy, but let's get this thing off the ground and we'll get started with that. 3/4 is all it takes to get the front off of this, if you're using stock lug nuts, I assume. And I feel like these are a 12. I'm probably wrong. Well, that's an 11. That's a 12. Okay, so it's a 13. But I need something to get on this because it's going to want to roll around when we're doing it. And that's a 16. So we're going to go get a 17 and a 13. Actually didn't even spin. I got both the 13s out. I'm going to go get a pry bar, but look. We'll look at the pads here in a second. I'm going to get my directional or side cutters, and we're going to cut these off that GM put. I'm assuming these are original brakes. Definitely need replaced. You can see I've got a hook to hang that, keep it out of the way. We're going to have to compress that piston a little bit, but okay, take note, those aren't terrible. Oh, the pad's cracking and falling apart, but the inside, well, the other side I think is way worse. Look at their cracking. But I was going to tell you, look at the way they're placed, but they both got wear indicators on both sides. They're pretty close to the wear indicator. Okay. Sometimes they have a wear indicator on one side and not the other, or they're shaped different. These seem to be shaped identical, so I don't think it matters which side we put wear. Those have some little bit of play in them. I'd like to take these out and put new grease in them, but before I do that, let's get an 18 and let's get the bracket off. Then we'll worry about getting these cut and the whole rotor assembly off. Got help here. Generally, once I get those were 18 millimeters like I thought, but sometimes you can pry these back a little. Maybe you have to get a smaller flat blade, and then I use just a side cutter to grab them. Okay, there we go. And I hate these. GM use these because when they're assembling it on the line, it's another reason why I think they're the original brakes. When they assemble these on the line, this keeps the rotor from falling off, but you do not need them. Some wheels you can't even use with these things on there, because they have to set completely flat. So we'll throw those to the side. See if we can get this other one off, then we'll get the rotor out of the way. Well, not that one, but that's okay. Took a hammer on the back side to get this thing off. It's been there a while. Good news is those sound good. No noise in the hubs. So
we're ready to go grab some new parts. I'm going to clean this up with the wire brush a little bit before we put that back on, so if we ever have to take them back off, maybe I may even put a little caliper grease on that as well. Now with my wire brush on my drill, I just went through and hit this area trying to knock some of the surface rust down, but just stock replacement. Like I said, it is coated though, so like in the veins and stuff, how these get so crusty and gross, this one should hold up a little better. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna put a little caliper grease on the back side of that, and we're gonna set that thing in place. Got the new one on. I've got it wiped down with some brake clean. Now we're going to, I'm gonna pull these slide pins out. Said I was. And I'm just gonna make sure that the grease looks good on them, maybe put a little more on them. I did not get new hardware, which sucks. But these boots look fine. That one has a little drag to it though, so I just want to take them out. Oh, the grease looks actually good in that. I'm gonna put a little more on it. We'll put it back together. Just got some caliper grease over here. Since we don't have any new hardware, we're using the old, but I'm gonna put a little caliper grease in these areas where they slide too. Just make sure that everything moves good. And then I'm gonna put a little Loctite on the bolts, and we'll get them started. I'm going to see if I can find torque specs. Generally, these are well over 100. Now, these are house brand, or I say house brand, parts store pads. And I've never seen one that you had to put the wear indicator on. It clips on. Never seen anything like that. They're always built into the pad, but we've got them on there on both sides. I went ahead and put the back pad in. I'm going to put the front one in now, but I will tell you, I like to put a little caliper grease. That may not work. Actually, that wear indicator may not work there. Yeah, that's not going to work. See that? It's hitting. So we'll just put one here on this side and leave this one off, which is fine. But I like to put a little caliper grease here. Wherever that rides on the front, we'll actually probably put it on the caliper, but I need to compress that with one of these clamps. I need to get a better tool for compressing those, but what I'm going to do is use an old pad. We'll push that in a little bit so it fits over our new brake pad. Now this tool works. You just have to open it up, tighten it, close it, open it up, tighten it, close it. I know I need a brake tool, but I'm going to keep doing that until it will clear. Obviously these pads are quite a bit thicker than the ones we're taking off, so we're going to have to push those pistons in. A lot of times you could take off the cap too, and sometimes that helps as far as relieving pressure. You don't have to, but the other thing is I noticed that these clips, see these pads, they have those same clip-on wear indicators. So hey, I guess that's how these are produced. I've just never seen that before. You can see where I put grease on the pistons and a little on the face here. It just keeps the pad from rattling. Now we just got to swing this in place, buckle it down, and I'll try to find you guys some torque specs. As far as torque specs go, 118 is what goes on the 18 millimeter, okay, the caliper bracket itself, and then 31 on the bracket, the caliper to the bracket, so the guide pin bolt. Got everything torqued down. Now we're ready to put the wheel back on. And I don't know what the torque spec is on the wheel, but I think it's probably in the 120 to 140 range, like a Chevy truck. And then we can go do the other side. I'm not going to show you guys that on camera. Exact same procedure, just on the opposite side. Then we'll move up, see if we can get that oil pressure sensor replaced. Now that we got both brakes done, let's see if we can see this thing. It's way back in the back. Oh, put that back on. I'm picky, so I want it to, there we go. This thing is way back here in the back. I don't even know that I'm going to be able to show it to you guys, but I will show you on another motor over here, because I actually have a couple LS motors out. The piece that we're replacing is this oil sending unit, and so what happens is over time they start to leak. That guy right there is what we're replacing. Now on his truck it'll be a lot shorter, but there is a specialty socket that I have that fits this thing, but I'm gonna have to do this blind by reaching back in there, just unplugging it, and then hopefully getting it out. So after a long fight, we were able to see it. Let's see if I can show you guys. You can barely see the edge of it right there in the edge of the light, right in the corner. That's it. Got the old one out, and it was definitely leaking. Set this down and show you. That's it right there. You can see all the junk on it. Now look, I'm not putting the screen in. I'm just not. We don't generally do it, so we're gonna leave this one out. I've got the new one ready to go in. Let's put it back. Okay, after a long fight, we're going back together. Guys, I do not suggest doing this if you've never done one before, because it's a lot of it is by feel. I don't even think I'd do another one. I'd make you pull the intake off. We put intake gaskets in it. Anyway, back together. We started up. It's only leaking a quart every 15 minutes, so we should be good. I'm kidding. The Tahoe was sitting here before, and we really should have cleaned up the floor before we pulled his in, because I'm thinking the leaks that are down there are actually from the Tahoe. On down the road it goes, and like I said, guys, these oil leaks, I'm pretty sure, are from my Tahoe, but I should have cleaned those up before we started this, because I thought for sure it was leaking. Because sometimes if you don't get those in and seated all the way, they will leak and they'll spray oil everywhere. So I told him just to keep an eye on it, and then of course he needs to kind of bed in those pads on the way home. But hopefully you guys enjoyed our little SSR detour for a while. Like I said, I told you in that video before this that I had some stuff I wanted to do. I wanted to keep this middle bay empty. But if you did enjoy this video, please, like always, smash that thumbs up button. Guys, if you are not subscribed, go down, hit the subscribe. Of course, ring that bell notification. That will notify you every time we drop a new video. And stay tuned to see what we work on next.